Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and in this video I'm going to show how you can take that solution that I provided for the auto raffle ticket and go ahead and add that to your own environment. So just to prove that to you and make sure that you're aware, this environment over here, this is my tenant. This, because you can see it's got all my information over here, my account, and the other one is this destination tenant. It's a completely different tenant. So I'm kind of walking you through how you can take the solutions I've provided and go ahead and add that to your tenant. So in the blog, you will find this zip file. Let's go ahead and extract that, and I'll just add it to this one same location over here. See that folder, go ahead and open it, and there you go. That's the text file. We'll talk about that in a second. Here's the PowerApps. These two zip files, they are the Flow zip files. Keep them as it is. You don't want to make any changes to it. And then here is the speaker survey. So one of the things you can do right off the bat is you can just open up this speaker survey over here and delete the last row. And also on the first row, keep everything as it is except just delete this one. Keep the last column, because that's the one which will identify the PowerApp ID one. Just leave that as it is. Just go ahead and delete that, everything in the other columns. Just save that. And then go ahead and upload this to your OneDrive. So let's do that first. Also, everything that I'm showing is follow the same sequence as I'm showing it to you. Don't change it, because it all makes sense. They all kind of interconnect with each other. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop that OneDrive, so you guys can do the very same thing as well. Add the OneDrive and keep it ready over there. OneDrive is ready. Let me just open it up. Make sure make sure that the information over here is as I just modified it. And it is. The first row is there. It is pretty much empty, but that last app ID is there, so we are good. Another thing to keep in mind is don't just leave this open over here, because when we start having the flows and the power apps, if this one is open, then it is locked and your flows and your power apps will fail. So for this case, I'm just going to go ahead and close it. And then the next thing we can do is we can go ahead and actually add the form. And for the sake of that, that's why I provided this text file over here. When you go ahead and open it up, grab this link, copy it, and then in another tab you can go ahead and paste it. Now the way forms works is I've actually gone ahead and shared my forms with you, so it just gives me this URL, and after that you can go ahead and basically duplicate it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll open it up, and that's what you can do. Just use the link. By no means are you accessing my tenant. I'm just allowing you this form, and when you duplicate it, it gets saved into your tenant over there. So that's good. In fact, now if I go ahead and close, let me just take the title, modify that over here. That is all good. In fact, if I go and close this, go back to this one, refresh it, you will actually see the form that I provided. It's in your tenant now. Made sure everything is there. Yep, we're good. So let's keep that as it is. So now let's work on the flows. So on the flows, there were two flows that I provided to you. Let's do the first one. The first one is a flow that I want to go ahead and whatever is the entry that's made on the form, it'll go and take a copy of that and put it into that Excel spreadsheet. Just want to show it to you that I actually have no flows over here. I didn't have any connectors. This is pretty much a fresh environment altogether, a fresh tenant. So upload. Let's do this one, record survey responses in Excel, and it'll go ahead and upload that package. While it's uploading, this actual tutorial is really good in general. When somebody's provided you solutions with all this information, this is how you go ahead and import that into your environment. The only big differences will be the data connections or the connectors. In mine, I have about three connectors that I'm working with. Depending on what your scenario, you may have more connectors, but if you still follow this process and make all the connectors active in the same way, you should also be okay. So now that I'm importing this package, everything is new, so I don't want to update it. I will go ahead and add that as a new one, I'll keep the title as it is, save it. So that is taken care of. My Microsoft Forms is going to be a new one. So in this case, I'll actually have to create it because I got nothing to select for. I'll go ahead and create that. It is going to take me into the connectors. Over there in the connectors, I'll go ahead and make a connection for forms. So as it is opening up, one of the things I want to show you here is when you do a search to find an existing connector, don't just accidentally jump to the first search that you see. You want to actually look at this search. And right now there's nothing here, so I want to first click on new connection. Then over here I'll search for forms, and right here you see the one which is in preview. Go ahead and add that, create. It may ask me to put in an authentication, otherwise because it's on the same tab it might not. Either way, it'll work. Well, let's see. It's still adding. Did it do it or not? Go ahead and close that. Go back to all my connections, and looks like it says can't sign in. Let me go ahead and fix that connection. Maybe this time the authentication will work. Yep, clicked on it. Alright, it was a problem, we fixed it. And this is good, right? Because we're doing this completely freestyle, so any problems you see over here is something similar that you might see, but now you know how to fix it. Alright, so now that I do that, when I come back over here, you see that brand new connection. So now I can select that, save it, and then the final one is the Excel connection. Now the Excel connection is a little tricky one because even though it's asking for the Excel connection, what you need to do is go and make the connection to that OneDrive. So we'll do the same thing over here. We're going to go in. It does already have that Excel connection, but let me just make a connection to my OneDrive as well. Same thing. Go over here. We'll see the connectors. Don't search over there. We'll go ahead and first add that connection. And usually OneDrive for Business is always on the top, but if you don't see it here, just search for that right there. So create. And if it'll time off over here again, but if it does, we know how to fix it. Okay, it did not. Selected that. Adding the connection. Right, so we're good over here. So now even if I don't see that new connection, I can refresh that. Now I can go ahead and select that. And save it. And so let's continue with the import. Now once the package is imported, and it'll tell you everything's successful, we're not done yet because we still have to go into the flow itself and modify some of the actions over there. So let this importing be finish successfully, then we'll go back in and make the remaining changes. Okay, so it said the importing was successful. So now when I go to my flows, I should actually see my first flow. And there it is. So let me go back in here. There's a couple of things I need to get fixed. When I open up the first one, you'll start seeing some GUIDs or something like that. Let's just close this and pick the actual one. Same thing over here. Close that. Pick the one over here. Now in this case, seems to be something wrong. Let's see if I select that again. And I'll click on the first one because that's the existing connection. Let's see how that works. Alright, so it took that. It's loading it. And I think in this case, it's still confused with where the actual folder is in OneDrive. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to click on this one again and pick the correct folder. And then same thing here. Go ahead and close this and pick the correct table. And the moment you pick the correct table, all the other columns should show up. So when I select that, and if everything is as good, all the columns show up over here. So we're in good shape now. I'll go ahead and close that. And that takes care of the importing the first flow. We got the second one to work on. Alright, that's saved. Go ahead and import the second one. Upload. In this case, most of the connections or the connectors should already be there, but we still want to make sure that we're importing this as a new flow altogether, a new package. So this one's a little bit more easier as far as selecting goes. In the action, I'll select that as a new there. And in this case, again, the Excel connection, I'll just select this one. Yeah, select this one, save it. We should be good over here. Because like I was saying, in this, most of the connectors were already done before. So that's why we were able to go a little bit quicker over here. But we still have a lot to go through in the flow itself. So let's let this importing go successfully. Let's get back into the its flow. And over there's a few more steps that we've got to fix. Okay, so that looks good, successful. Go back to my flows. Okay, let's get back in here. And in here, there's a few things we want to do. For now, let's just go ahead and just fix the Excel part of it. Again, same thing over here. So I'm going to select that one. That. Okay, that should be fine. Same error we saw before. We know what the problem is and how to fix it. Alright, so that took care of that. What I'm going to do is I'll just save this for now, because on the PowerApp side we may have to do something else. But let's go ahead now that we've got the form done, we've got the OneDrive file over there, we fixed our flows. Now let's go ahead and get the PowerApps back in over there. So save that. Make sure I did save it. Saved. Okay. We've got the two things. One of them we can actually go and test immediately, and that is to go ahead and add if we go ahead and run the form, make an entry in the form, it should go ahead and run that one flow and upload our add an item to our Excel spreadsheet in the OneDrive. We can actually go ahead and test that really quick right now. Forms. Close this guy over here so I don't get confused. And let's just test that. Don't want to create one, I just want to use an existing one. We'll preview it. And let's do Daniel.Christian@contoso.com. Got the email address there. Michael Wharton's session. Strong, everything was good. Was a great session. Submit. One question. Oh, I missed that one. So that one is done. Let me go ahead and add another entry. Preview. James Bond. James.Bond@007.org. Session. Strong. Learn a lot of new things. Submit. Now, just as a reminder, if you by accident had that Excel spreadsheet open, these flows would have failed. But since I did not, and everything was okay, we should see two successful ones. Yep, both of them have succeeded. Just to double check, let's go back and look at that spreadsheet. And we should see two new entries over here. Got two new entries and all the comments. So that's good, which is why I'm going to go and close this over here. Alright, so we took care of that. Now let's go ahead and take care of our PowerApp. So in the app, I'm going to click on create an app. Even though I'm not creating one, still go ahead and click on that create an app. Okay, it's coming up. Here's the studio part is opening. Here we want to click on open, and then we browse, and that is where we go ahead and get that app over here. So once this opens up, we will also have to go and take a look at our connections. Yep, this is good that it recognizes that this app will need connection over there to the OneDrive. So I'm going to go ahead and say allow. So this is good. Right off the bat, I don't see any warnings or anything like that. But there's one thing I want us to go look at is in the view on the data sources. I see the one for the speaker survey because it came up and asked us if you want a connection. But my lottery winner, this is that flow, and over here it says it is not connected. So best way to go ahead and fix this is actually go ahead and close it or remove this one, and we're going to add it again. Now I removed it and I see the error over here. This is where I want you guys to be a little bit careful. When you select this, we're going to go ahead and add that on this button. When I select the button, I'm going to, in the action for the flow, it's based on the on select over here. But when I go ahead and add that flow, it's going to override this whole thing. So prior to doing that, just go ahead and copy this. I highlighted it, Control C. Come back over here. I'll just paste it here temporarily. Now when I do that, I go to when I select actually I will go back first over here in the data sources. I deleted that, so just wanted to validate. In here I want to action, add the flow, and now this is talking to my flow, and it's going to go ahead and pick that one, and this time it will pick it correctly and we will see that connection. So when I select it, it is adding it, but watch, this is going to completely disappear. But now that I've got it, if I go into view and see my connections, you'll see that I have it correct over here, but I still need to go ahead and fix this guy. So now all I got to do is go here, copy, paste, and that should take care of that. There was an error over there, that went away. There was an error over here, that went away. So let me just go ahead and save it. So that is saved. If I go over here and refresh it, if everything works, we should be able to just run it directly from here. So let's just go and even play that directly, because I've already got 2 entries in my Excel spreadsheet. Technically I should be able to pull it over here. So let's just do that. So if I go and click this, I should get an entry. The flow should run and I should get an entry. So it's talking over there to flow. All I want to see right now is an entry that comes in. That's all I want to see. Because in the previous video you've actually seen, and there you go, the entry came in over here. Let's just go and make sure that the flow actually ran. And it did successfully. So it went ahead and we'll take a look at it. All the steps ran, even that Excel actions ran successfully. But we had to go ahead and make the change. Now again, in order for this to work, we had to make sure that the app was there, and the app was actually calling to this flow. Originally the connection, even though it seemed like it was there, we had to delete that connection, add it back, but then it went ahead and changed that formula. So there was a little catch over there. But in general, we saw it work. The entry came in over here. The random entry using the random function. But I just wanted to walk you guys through it to see how this works. And the good thing is you can use this process that I showed you for any other import that you do. Key things you want to keep in mind is the data connections, because based on the solutions that you're importing, the data connections might be different. So follow the same process though, is that whatever is the data storage place, go ahead and put that in first. Then I went ahead and got my flow, and when I was adding the flow, I added all the connectors over there. Then the final thing was I added the PowerApps. And it worked. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys enjoy the other video, and it'll all be available. And if you learned something new, if you went ahead and made modifications to this and enhancement, share it with the community. Thanks.